Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm a software engineer at Bottlerocket Studios in Addison, Texas, and here we make mobile applications like the ones you see behind me. What is something I wish I knew when I was starting out? Um, so, specific to software engineering, some advice I would give is looking for what the next thing on the horizon is, and getting involved with that. Uh, when I started here, the new thing was the Swift programming language. Um, Nowadays, if you were getting started, at least on the iOS side, I would recommend checking out something like Swift UI. Um, what's great about that is that you know when you're applying for jobs, you're competing with people who may have additional experience, but with a new technology or new programming language, everyone is starting sort of from the same level, right? It's new to all of us. So if you can find something like that, that's a great way to get into software engineering and sort of ride that wave to the next thing. If I was giving just general advice to myself when I was starting out, it was 2008. It was the Great Recession, sort of similar to the situation we find ourselves in with the pandemic right now. It was a very hard time to find a job, and I would have told myself, don't forget about how valuable your skills are. Right? When you're applying, in hard times like this, you might get a lot of no's, right? And that's okay. Don't get deterred by that. Just keep trying. Someone out there is going to be a match for what you have to offer, and don't let yourself forget that. What kind of schooling and/or training did you have to complete to work in this field or career? Uh, I personally went to college to learn how to, code, but nowadays, that's not a requirement. There are plenty of people I work with here who didn't go to college. Um, if you can find out on your own, that this is what you're passionate about, and you have a drive to learn of the computer science fundamentals, um, you know, learning about algorithms, learning about data structures, and from there you can build on that. Uh, I wouldn't worry too much about the specific language that you learn. Um, you know, C++, Objective C, Objective C. More. There's always going to be something new to learn. But as long as you have that strong, core skill set in computer science, you can learn any language on top of that. What are your future career goals? Um, I think everyone in software sort of has that dream of making the next $1 million idea app. Now more than ever, it's a possibility with app stores and how easy it is to put an app out there, on your own or with a small team. As long as you have a computer, you have the know-how, how to make that app, and you have that idea. That's something that anyone can do. But it's very unlikely to have that next $1 million idea. So in the meantime, I love working at a place like bottlerocket. I get to make apps that people will enjoy using. Hopefully, making their lives a little bit better. I get to do it with people that I enjoy coming to work with, and the work itself is something that I enjoy. So as long as I can keep doing this, improving my skill set, growing as an engineer, I'm happy with this work. What is my favorite part of my job? Um, well, I like to make things. Even more so when the things that I make are things that other people will enjoy using, which I think is something that we do here. And I like being able to work on a team of people who all have that same drive to make great things. I get to play with all the latest technology whenever it comes out. I get to work somewhere that's pretty casual environment, pretty laid back. You know, it's pretty good deal. Did I always know I wanted to work in this career field, and were there any particular influences? I did not. When I was your age, I really liked art. I wanted to be an artist, but my parents said I need to find something that is more reliable than that. So I thought I would maybe be a doctor or something, right? When I went to school, I quickly found out that that was not what I was interested in. And actually stumbled into computer science as a way to avoid writing papers, right? In computer science, you're going to be writing a lot of code, but you won't be writing any papers. And it turns out, it just clicked. It was something I understood and enjoyed. I didn't really understand how I would use it as a career. I thought maybe I'd be fixing computers or something like that. It wasn't until after I was out of school, the iPhone was invented. Right now, all of a sudden, there's a huge need for software development beyond databases and the boring apps that we used to have. Now everybody has a computer in their pocket all the time. And there's this huge demand for all sorts of creative apps to go on that, and it just worked out that I didn't have to make that choice anymore. Now I could do something where I could both be creative and have a stable job, and do something that I enjoy. How do I use STEM skills in my career? Well, obviously, computer science and technology play a big part. without that, all the devices that we make our apps for wouldn't exist. And high skill level in computer science is required, for us to make great apps. Engineering, right? Software engineering is, of course, a form of engineering. If you're engineering something physical, like a chair, you'd be working in like a wood medium with tools like hammers and saws. Here, our medium is a programming language. And the tools that we use are our computer and the programs on our computer that we write code in. And we're doing this to solve a problem within a set of constraints, right? Both the constraints of what the device is capable of, and also the client requirements. When we're making an app for one of these companies, they're going to have a set of requirements that they want the app to meet, and we have to figure out how to solve the problem within that. Other things, in the math area, you're probably familiar with algebra, right? Here we use something called Boolean algebra, right? Rather than comparing an infinite set of numbers, Boolean algebra deals with comparing, is something true or false, right? With computers, at the end of the day, that's really all it boils down to, right? All the ones and zeros just represent true and false. We are coming up with ways to determine, is something true? Is something false? How do we tell a computer to determine that? And we do that with algorithms, right? This is a concept in computer science and mathematics that is a set of reproducible steps to solve a problem. Say, for example, I'm sure you're familiar with division. If you want to divide two numbers, right, you could memorize every single number out there and what they, when you divide the two of them, what the answer is, right? But that's not very efficient. A more efficient way is to know an algorithm to divide, right? That way you can take any two numbers, apply that algorithm, and determine the answer. And same thing with computer science, right? We have all sorts of problems we want to solve. So if we can figure out what the inputs are going to be, right? We can design an algorithm around that to give us the outputs that we expect.